During EXO 2018, Microsoft announced that they bought inXile Entertainment, and a lot of the Xbox fans, even though some of them have never played a lot of the games from the studio, we were excited to see what they could do with Microsoft's backing. So today I'll be reviewing the next installment of their games, and it's called Wasteland 3. Is this game an exclusive to Microsoft's platform? No, but what I do think, what you can't see because it's not an exclusive, you can definitely take this quality of this game and you can see a little bit on what they might make and what kind of quality games they'll bring to the Xbox platform in the future. But before we get on with the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the review. You can always subscribe to the channel for weekly content. You can follow me at Twitter at LordAddictIOP. And you can always hit that bell icon down there at the bottom. Without any further ado, here's my review on Wasteland 3. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you with another review. We're going to be reviewing Wasteland 3. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, as well as Game Pass, so it's on every platform you could think of, and it's very accessible to everyone that wants to play it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the visuals of the game. I will be the first one to say this is not a really visually appealing looking game. It gets the job done. These type of RPGs, and especially these XCOM style gameplay, we don't really expect it to look pretty. I do think they could have improved on this a little bit. We have seen other games do the art style and especially the animations look really good. For instance, Divinity Original Sin 2, the special effects of the animation of that game looks amazing. So, you know, next time you make something like this type of game, inXile, you know, you don't really have to focus on the overall aspect to make it look like something like Uncharted or God of War, but focus a little bit more on, you know, the animations and the special effects on what happens when you blow certain stuff up. Let trees and stuff lay around when you run them over in the truck, and I think that little detail would go a long way. But the graphics didn't look horrible. It's just, I do feel like you can improve on those. Now, fair warning, anyone playing us on the Xbox One S or even the bulky VCR Xbox One, this is probably going to be the worst experience you guys have in a long time. It's poorly optimized. Now, I did see on Twitter that, you know, the studio has come out and they've acknowledged these issues. The game crashes regularly, and it looks like it crashes the most when you have anything to do with menus. So if you are playing on these consoles, what I would recommend you doing is waiting for the patch. And if you don't want to wait because you've been hyped for this game, is every time that you're going to have to get into your menus or you go to a store to buy something on Wasteland 3, I would recommend you save before you go into these menus, before you level up your people, and before you go to these stores to buy these items. Just do that manual save, just be on the safe side. It doesn't crash every time you go into these menus, but it does crash a frequently amount of time to make me want to pre-existent save before I go into those menus. But if you're playing this on the Xbox One X or, you know, PC or Steam, you're not gonna have any issues whatsoever. I played it on the Game Pass PC for about an hour and a half. No issues. The game runs flawlessly. I do think this game was, you know, really optimized for the Xbox One X, and they're probably re-optimizing the game as we speak right now in the Xbox One S. But besides, you know, the little crash in the game ran fine. I really had no issue whatsoever in terms of the performance, but the crashes was annoying. In terms of if you guys would enjoy the gameplay, just depends on what type of gamer you are. Do you enjoy the XCOM style games would be the biggest question that I would have to anyone watching this. If you do, this is probably right up your alleyway. Do you enjoy the Outer Worlds, Fallout 4, you know, a lot of the old school Fallouts where you have a build, you build your character to do exactly what you wanted to do, rather if you wanted to, you know, shoot rifles, or if you want him to hit something with a stick or hit something with a sword, etc., etc. This is the type of experience you will get in Wasteland 3. If I were to give a good analogy on what type of game you are to expect coming into this, it would be like a mixture between the Outer Worlds and XCOM. Now, there are certain things, clearly the gameplay is not like it was in the Outer Worlds, and you don't really have the base building that you have in XCOM. It's taking the RPG element that's in the Outer Worlds and it's combining it with the gameplay that's in XCOM. Lock picking, explosive experts, you know, these are returning from games like the Outer Worlds, where what you do and how you level up your characters through the RPG system will affect stuff you can do on the world map. So for instance, you can unlock level 8 doors, or, you know, unlock safes where you can get valuable equipment in the safes. You can use the mechanic skill to fix certain generators. You can even turn off generators if it's high enough to where when you go into that battle to that next group of enemies, they don't have those turrets at the top because you disabled it before the battle started. One thing I really enjoyed about this game is the attention to detail in terms of your companions. You'll go through the world and you'll meet these these new people. You'll meet these people that, you know, have some kind of stance on what they want in the world. They have morals that they don't want to live against. And if you recruit them to your team, they will leave you in the middle of battle sometimes if you do something that you don't want them to. For instance, there's a person in the character that is very against killing innocent people. So if you kill innocent people in front of this individual, they will leave right in the middle of battle. Now, I don't know, maybe if you do it a certain amount of times, instead of leaving in the middle of battle, they might turn on you. I never had that scenario happen. For the most part, I try to keep the people in my party happy because I built them. I built the character development they have. I gave them the equipment they have, and I didn't want them leaving for any reason. So I tried to play the game a little bit more, you know, in terms of what they might want, not necessarily always about what I wanted in the game. You have a renown system in here, and what I really enjoy about the renown system in here is how they set the factions up. You know, there's a lot of different skill checks you can have, and depending on how you treat these factions during the game, it can lead to a different ending and what you would have to do with these factions. And I really enjoy when RPG put a lot of emphasis behind relationships in these RPGs. We see that a lot with Fallout New Vegas. We saw it with some with the Outer Worlds, and we see it here with Exile and the amount of detail that they put into this game in terms of the relationships you have with these factions. Now let's talk a little bit about the story and if I felt like it was satisfying when I completed the game. I did. I really enjoyed the story. I felt like it was a good narrative from beginning to middle to end. You guys know I don't really like spoiling anything, so I won't go in too much into detail, but if you guys like a story, a well-written story of a branching past, this is the game for you. They really did, you know, come out on top in terms of the story. Is it the best story I've ever read in my whole life? Of course not, but it is such a solid experience that I wanted to know that what the end of this narrative had in store for me, and I really appreciate that. Now clearly, as much as I have enjoyed this game, I definitely have issues with the game. Let's go over that a little bit. This criticism is really directed towards Microsoft and not as much on, you know, Exile Entertainment. Now it could be equally both of them, but I'm going to be talking to Microsoft. Microsoft, you guys have did nothing but gloat about cross progression and cross play. Clearly cross play should be in here because it is between multiple platforms, but let's just highlight cross progression. When this S version was messing up, I wanted to go to the Windows version to finish the game without the crashing that would happen frequently in this game when I would interact with menu. But to my surprise, when I go on Windows 10, guess what isn't there? My save file from the Xbox One S version. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's on there and I don't know how to do it correctly. That is to be continued. If it is, then definitely my apologies to that. But Microsoft, if you're going to speak this energy, I need to have the same energy every time you guys make games. I know this game wasn't published by you, so maybe that has something to do with why it's not in here, but I'm going to need more from you guys in terms of cross progression at the very least through all of your games. So now that we got that taken care of, let's talk a little bit about the world map in Wasteland 3. Now the map goes in certain sections that you can only access when your vehicle is able to go through certain radiations. You have level 1, level 2, etc, etc. But when you get these, you know, upgraded chassis on your ship or your car, you'll be able to go to different parts of the map so you couldn't get to originally. This was a great way of doing this, but I do have a little concern. There's a lot of areas that I felt like you would have to go to that I never went to. I even looked up a world map, and for the most part, I've been to every place that this game has to offer. Now, maybe some of these are a little bit of the side quests. I did a lot of the side quests, but I didn't do them all. So you could go to some of these areas on this map when you know, get into that certain side quest. But I do feel like in terms of all the places that I saw that I thought for sure would open up as an area later on in the game, it didn't happen. There was way too many of them. A lot of this map has areas and big structures that I felt like you should be able to go to. Maybe it's DLC. Maybe that's something that they're saving, you know, that one bullet in the chamber and they're gonna pop that out in a couple months and it's gonna be DLC, and I'm okay with that. That's a little bit of my criticism. You know, if you're gonna have structures, especially big structures in this game, I do feel like a lot of them should be accessible and you should be able to go there and at the very least fight people that's inhabiting that place, and maybe not necessarily do any type of missions there, which would be stupid if you could go there and you couldn't do missions. But at the very least, let me go in there and fight people. This next thing's a little nitpick. I feel like the stores really never restocked a whole lot. Now I know that some of them did, especially the one that's at HQ that regularly updates and stuff, but I do feel like in terms of inventory in general, sometimes you run out of bullets if you do a lot of grinding. I did a decent amount of grinding towards the end and I was running out of bullets, so I tried to go ahead and finish the game before I ran out. I don't know how this works. Maybe after a certain amount of time the stores restock in general, but to me I never saw that. Clearly it's a post-apocalypse, so maybe that's the reason that they don't really restock stock on this game because they want you to have that, you know, environment that not everything's gonna come to you because you can buy it. You're gonna have to scavenge for some stuff. And to a point, I understand, but I do feel like this is a video game at one point. And if I should be able to go to a store, I expect to come back like maybe later through the game or midway through the game or even at the end of the game, and that stock has new inventory. There were some that did this, but the majority of them, to me, did not do this. And I would appreciate maybe an update later on down the road that, you know, does a little bit of changes in terms of how the stores are in this game. Now, are the stores horrible? No. The majority of the best weapons in the game you get from like random lock boxes, you know, lock picking level 9 checks. You know, you get a lot of those equipment through those avenues. So the store wasn't really relevant for the most of the time, but that was just some criticism I wanted to put out there. Now, let me be honest with you. I came into Wasteland 3 not playing Wasteland 1 and 2. You don't really need to play them. I didn't really see any sense that they were trying to throw a lot of information at me that was in the previous ones. I know that there's a good chance, since I didn't play 1 and 2, that there's some Easter eggs in the game that I didn't catch because of the lack of experience with those games, but I didn't feel like I had to play them to play this game. I was nervous about this game. I tried to play Wasteland 2, but the gameplay was so outdated, I was a little nervous coming into Wasteland 3, but that's not the case. Guys, this game is amazing. Wasteland 3 probably crashed 30 to 40 times me playing this game on the Xbox One S. Like I said, do not play it on the S until they patch it. Keep your gameplay for the X or PC. And guess what I did every time I saw that dashboard? I went right back into that game, annoyed, but I was definitely interested in playing more, even though the game just crashed probably 3 or 4 times in an hour and a half. Look, if you have the S, wait. If you have the X and you have PC, Game Pass this, buy this. It's worth every penny, even if you spend $60 into it. If you want to play this on Steam, easily worth the money. This game is one of the RPGs that makes me realize how much I still enjoy RPG genre, and I hope that whatever they do next, it's this amplified. I hope now, since they got Microsoft's money, we can expect this type of quality for them, but on a bigger, larger scale. But that's my review on The Outer World. The graphics were okay, but they were nothing special. The gameplay was phenomenal. The story was great, and the overall experience of the game was amazing. I recommend it to everyone out there, especially if you have Game Pass. If you have Game Pass and you like these type of games, that should be already on your system or on your PC. But anyway, tell me what you guys think. Did you guys play Wasteland 3? Put that in the comment section below. What was your opinion about it? Did you drop it soon? I'm kind of curious to see your guys' opinion on the game. But anyway, until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.